Here are 10 truths that I wish I knew before becoming a professional musician. Number 1 is practice smarter, not harder. When I was in high school, I spent all my time practicing really difficult rep for competitions, auditions, and master classes and that kind of thing. I did some practice on my technique, and I certainly did some slow practice, but the majority of time that I spent practicing the flute was doing drills on difficult sections of my music and working them up with the metronome. This method certainly helped me get by, but it was really reinforcing all sorts of tension into my playing and bad habits, and I wasn't focusing on really critical fundamentals in my sound quality and air support and things like that. Once I shifted gears and started spending the majority of my time practicing fixing my fundamentals in my sound and getting rid of the tension in my fingers and in my playing, my entire skill set improved, and playing more difficult repertoire just automatically became easier. Number 2 is to spend 90% of your time doing slow practice. Like I said, I did start pieces slowly and kind of work them up with the metronome even in high school, but as soon as I had any kind of speed under my belt, I never went back and practiced it slowly again. I've realized now that the more time that I spend practicing slowly, and sometimes extremely slowly, the more all the different aspects of my playing will actually show up for me when it matters. Number 3 is to think more long term. When I was young, I would just hop from competition to competition to competition, not really thinking about where I was going in the long term, either with my life or my career. Once I finally got really clear on what my goals actually were, I was able to map out a plan. I knew exactly which skills I needed to focus on and which repertoire I needed to learn to help me to achieve them. For example, I knew I wanted to be an orchestra musician. And on auditions, there's often this one excerpt from Prokofiev's classical symphony with this wicked scale that goes up to a high D. So instead of panic practicing it in the weeks before the audition, which is what I had always done previously, I decided to take a different approach. Without having any audition on the horizon, I put it into my practice plan for 2 to 3 minutes every single day. I put the metronome on the first day at an extremely slow tempo and just ironed out those notes over and over again for about 2 to 3 minutes. Next day, I moved it up 1 click on the metronome. After about 3 months of using this method, I had the whole thing in my fingers up to tempo, and I've honestly never really had to work that hard on it ever again. It's just in my fingers the way it's like to learn how to ride a bike. Back when I was stress practicing, there was maybe a 50% chance I'd get that scale right on the day of the audition. Now, it's probably closer to 95 because I just know I can do it, and it's only if I get in my own head that I'm going to screw it up. Number 4 is to just enjoy the journey more. I got so caught up in the ego attachment of trying to prove myself and win all the time that I actually lost all of my enjoyment for playing the flute. It became a source of stress instead of expression and joy, which is what it used to be for me. I've come to realize that making music with others is one of the most gratifying experiences of my life. And so I try to focus in on that aspect of playing the flute instead of constantly trying to prove myself. Number 5 is that perfection is not attainable. This might be the most important lesson of all, and it's something I just wish I could go back and tell my younger self just how important it is. I think I honestly believed in my youth that if I could only just play perfectly, it would prove my worthiness as a player and really as a human being. My entire self-worth was completely wrapped up in my playing, and so anytime I didn't play my best or I didn't even achieve the sound or technique that I thought I should be achieving by now, I felt like just a complete failure. It was perpetually painful. The minute I let go of perfection and just focused on progress, my entire life improved, and I let go of the perfectionist mindset altogether. Number 6 is to laugh at your mistakes. Most mistakes to me now this point in my life are completely hilarious. Now that my worth no longer hinges on whether I'm able to perform well or not, and I know to my core that I'm a competent flute player, mistakes just remind me that I'm human. I no longer hold on to that fear that if I make a mistake, it's going to reveal to the whole world that I'm not good enough. I definitely love to go back and share that with my younger self. Number 7 is that there's no arrival. I had this belief that all I had to do was make it in the classical music world and I'd live happily ever after. Even landing a principal flute job in a professional orchestra didn't release that feeling of needing to make it. I kept auditioning for even bigger jobs for quite a while. And I was always really looking for that ego hit of the new level of achievement or my proof of worth. I've come to realize that my entire career is going to be a journey of growth, self-discovery, and improvement. There isn't any real arrival point, and even landing one of those bigger jobs would not have made me feel more worthy as a person or more satisfied with my life. Number 8 is don't forget why you play the flute in the first place. All this focus on winning and achieving really made me lose sight of why I love the flute. I'd love to remind my younger self of what it feels like to express myself with music in a way that words just can't. I love being able to just use my breath to release emotions that can get locked inside. And I love the feeling of locking in with other musicians and making music in the moment. It's so uplifting. Number 9 is that rejection is just part of the process. Rejection sucks. I spent a lot of time in my youth just trying to avoid it because it's so painful. Once I accepted that audition rejections and critical comments were really just opportunities for growth, I was able to let go of all that painful reaction. I also just became more productive because I could take each opportunity to learn what worked for me with performance anxiety, travel demands, preparation, goal setting, all of those things. If I didn't put myself through the whole process, I would never have learned. So as soon as I just let go of losing and took from what I did well and what I didn't and took that to the next audition or the next competition, I started improving and doing a lot better in the end. Number 10 is who I am is not defined by how I play the flute. I wish I could have told myself this on day 1 of picking up the flute. Music is part of our identity. We say, "Hi, my name is Sarah. I'm a musician." It's who I am. I know for a fact that there's a lot of people who judge my character or who I am 100% based on how I play the flute, good or bad. The only way I've found peace with all this external judgment is to let go of the internal judgment. There's this line in the book, The 4 Agreements, that really sums it up for me. They can only hurt you as much as you hurt yourself. I have found this to be true. I build up my own confidence, I feel good about myself and my worth detached from my flute playing, and then comments like that either don't happen anymore or they just roll off my back. Learning these lessons has taken me years and plenty of mistakes. They've literally transformed not only my playing, but who I am as a person. The truth is, you don't have to figure all this out on your own. Green Banana Flute Studios was actually born from many of these lessons I wish I could have shared with my younger self. We wanted to create a space where flutists could focus on progress instead of perfection, growth instead of competition. Inside our free community, Fundamentally Flute, you'll find practical tools to make your practice more effective, mindset shifts to help you move forward without all the anxiety and tension, and a supportive group of flutists who are here to learn and grow together. I'll drop a link in the description.